So many people have been asking me what's going to happen next in Mysore. And it's an understandable question. I think that in the first year, we just assumed that it would be open for that year, paying respects to the passing of Sharathji and going anyway to people's trips that had already been arranged and people that wanted to go and commemorate Sharathji's life and the experience they had there in Mysore. But now it seems to have changed with the recent flurry, and there's been a number of certifications, like the highest accolade in Ashtanga, and the social media posts also from Sharath Jois Shala suggesting that it's going to continue. I think it is set to stay, that something in Sharath's name will continue, hosted or more like conducted under the banner of the family of Jois, Shruti, and Sambhav and Shraddha, the children, and Shruti, the widow of Sharath, will be standing in and keeping the shala open, which is very understandable in one sense. I mean, it was in the family, and people want a place to go. They want a place that's a firm centre or Ashtanga. On the other hand, the business as usual idea doesn't somehow sit nicely because it's not business as usual. Okay, the first year was one thing. Now going forward, we have to admit that things have changed, that it isn't just going on the same. And I think that we need to have a discussion about the takeover and who is behind the Jois family now, because if you know Shruti, then you know that she never really went to the shala. I mean, she would come down to deliver Sharath's breakfast now and again, give him a cup of coffee. The children, Sambhav, never win the shala, apart from to see his father. Shraddha, I believe she started practicing kind of during the pandemic time to her own admission. Yeah, not that she's trying to hide anything, but she started recently. So, are they really in the position that they qualified to dictate about the certifications, for example? Right? Who made those decisions? Now, it is said that these are the wishes of Sharathji passed on, but the next year and the next year, and even now, the kind of the adjustments in the shala that they're doing, and the general kind of shepherding of it, we've got to say that the family isn't in the position qualified to do this. And I think that that's understood on their part. But there's figures behind that are dictating the parameters of what's happening now. And I think my issue with it is not that per se. I mean, it's understandable. And it's just that there's a lack of transparency. So there's a level of disingenuousness hiding behind the family in a sense, as guarantors. They're the Jois family after all, as guarantors of the practice and what they're doing now. Yet, well, really, they haven't got the technical expertise and background, and they lack the context of what Ashtanga is. Of course they do, right? So people behind the scenes are using them as figureheads, or perhaps hostages even, in a certain sense, right? Because they're obviously, in a cynical sense, bound to benefit to the Sharath Jois family, the widow and children. I mean, financially, it's going to be still beneficial for them, let's put it that way. But nevertheless, I don't think they're really kind of quite clear on what could happen in terms of going forward, letting these people behind the scenes control them and the legacy of Sharath Jois without any kind of further discussion in the Ashtanga community. So it's the lack of transparency which concerns me. Democracy? No, it never was a democracy. It was the firm centre of Ashtanga. So the idea of it being a democracy now where all different people come and teach, of course not. It's those people that teach, they're on program with the narrative that Sharath passed on, right? That's understandable. I wouldn't be invited to teach, and I wouldn't be expecting to be invited to teach, right? So to that end, don't mind about that. To the certification end, it's not the certification itself, because I think it rested on privilege, financial, and a physical ability. It wasn't a teaching standard in my mind. It's really the lack of transparency of talking about who's behind it and how it's going to go forward that somewhat concerns me as we go forward. And the question of if we need to carry on going forward with Mysore together. Do we need to continue Mysore, having had it drift so far from what it originally was, 12 people in a room in Lakshmipuram under Sharath Jois, to 70 in Gokulam, to hundreds outside Mysore, where it becomes a very different thing. And now, basically, with certified teachers running behind the scenes, the narrative of Mysore, do we need Mysore to carry on in that manner? Yep. Or can we not say it'd be more honest to go and see these various certified teachers on their own patch? Within their home ground, where you're answering immediately to them, not answering to the lineage of Sharath Jois, where behind the scenes they can control a narrative, which is a lot less honest than simply saying, well, this is what I believe of Ashtanga, rather than say, well, this is what Sharath would have believed. So I think there could be a lot of possibility for covering over ideas, or being, hiding behind this idea of the legacy of Sharath, where it's certain teachers actually feeling that Sharath would have interpreted it like this, not that he did. So that's what concerns me. Do we need to carry on? Do we keep needing to go to Mysore? Do we keep needing to authorize people? Well, it seems unfair to deny that privilege to the younger teachers, but I'm not sure about that. It does seem to have drifted so far now from what I remember it being, that I wonder of its usage going forward. I'm not sure. I haven't got the answer, but certainly it would be nice to talk about it. And currently, this just doesn't seem to be a conversation being had, which I feel is somewhat to the detriment of us moving forward more effectively, more efficiently, more honestly. Yeah. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. and be tolerant and be kind in your comments, in terms of looking from the broadest perspective possible of how we can all move forward effectively together as much as we can.